What's good, everybody? This is Clyde Taylor III, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to talk about the importance of listening to your child. It's very important to listen to your child. The reason why it's important to listen to your child is because you get to learn so much about your child through listening, not listening to speak, not listening to reply, but just listening to just learn. Sometimes when my children are sitting down and they're playing, I just listen to them talk and listen to their imagination and listen to the type of stories that they tell. Listen to these different things that they talk about and they play and just listen to the creativity of my children. So you can hear when a child is a very nice child and then the child is watching too much TV and they're seeing too much craziness on TV, like killing and dying and stuff like that. And you got to say to your kids, hey, listen, dying and killing, you might want to take it easy on for certain ages. Certain ages understand it, certain ages don't understand it. So you want to kind of try to put it in a kid-friendly way when you talk about that type of stuff like that. But it's very important to listen to your child because, like I said, you get to learn the personality of your child. Every child is not the same. Once again, I've said it in earlier episodes. I'm going to continue to say that so that everybody gets the message in their head. Every child is different. So if you go on Google, you go on my YouTube page or anybody else's YouTube page looking for advice, you have to remember that every child is different. So you might be able to pick and take certain, pieces of information or certain, articles and say, okay, well, this might, be for my child, but I have to take that information and adapt it to my child. So there might be some key things in there that you might want to take out and use, but you also have to remember that everything is not the same for every child. So when I listen to my children, my 3-year-old is very, very, very creative. She has a big imagination. She reminds me of me when I was a child. I used to play. I could have my action figures go from the living room to the bedroom to my parents' room to the kitchen. It was a total adventure from beginning to end with me for as long as I could, stand playing with that toy because I would get bored after a while. And the same thing my daughter does now. So with that being said, I also listen to my 6-year-old who has a leadership personality. She likes to tell people what to do. At first she was a little aggressive, but as time progressed, she's not as aggressive as she used to be. She's not more dictator. She's kind of more like a person that eases you into it. She's politically correct, which I accept. I accept it. So make sure when you listen to your kids, you listen to your kids, and also be a friendly ear sometimes. You don't always have to be a teacher. Sometimes you just want somebody to talk to that can enjoy the things that they say. Because, when these kids get older, they become more secretive. And when they become more secretive, they also hide things that you may need to know. And you don't want your child to hide something from you that you need to know. So keep an open communication with your children, and children teach, because not all of us remember everything we learned in math class from 3rd grade. So just let them teach you sometimes. It's important to learn from your kids too. Don't ever think that you're too old to learn from somebody who's very young. You can always learn. You can always do these things. There's always something new. So what I'm doing with my kids is I'm allowing them to be independent and learn things on their own. And I also talk to them, just ask them questions and just let them answer and make them, not feel too pressured when you ask them questions. Of course, you're going to pressure them when you ask them questions because you're going to want them to answer, and you're going to want them to answer truthfully. Sometimes they might be a little nervous or timid. Like I said, once again, each kid and child is different. If your child is already at that point where they're not talking to you, whatever the case may be, take them out somewhere. Take them out somewhere in an environment that would, probably make them want to be a little bit more sociable. You don't want them to have to turn to things to make them become social people. And then you also want to learn why your children don't want to speak to you, because there's a reason for that probably. There's a reason why they don't want to speak to you. So, you want to find out these things and have that conversation with your child. So all I ask from you guys is, comment on ways to make it easier to talk to your children and get your children to talk so you can listen to them, and Also, you know, if you want, leave some comments about how the funny things that your kids tell you, because you know my kids say some pretty funny stuff too. I'll reply with some of the funny stuff my kids say if you tell me something that your kids say that's funny. So, as you know, I don't like to talk too much, so I'm out of here. I wish you guys a peaceful day. Remember, it's very important to listen to your children. Peace.